So for today's class you need your trusty foam roller or your couple of big bath towels rolled up tightly. You need your squishy Pilates ball and your two soft pickleballs. And if you know that you need something under your head like a towel or a cushion, then feel free to also have that, particularly for when you're lying down on your roller. And we'll get started lying down. Okay. So as usual, we're just lying down here. We're trying to find that little bit of softness and that little bit of relaxation. Trying not to hold a lot of tension and trying to lift ourselves away from the roller. We're trying to surrender our body weight so that we can allow that pressure to release the deeper layers of our fascia, of our muscles, and just find a little bit more release there. So focusing on your breath, slowing your breath down. Scanning through your body and just noticing if you are gripping and holding anywhere. And seeing if there is anywhere that you can find just a little bit more softness. And then we're going to start to move. So today's class, we're going to do a lot of shoulder stuff first, and then we'll kind of incorporate some lower body stuff later on. But we're going to start by having our hands in that stop position. So your palms are facing up towards the sky. And then just allowing your arms to drop closer towards the floor. And you can feel how when you open out that little bit, it starts to stretch across your chest and your shoulders. So just kind of find that point at which you feel a little bit of resistance. And then hold there for a few breaths. Now if it's making you want to arch your back or thrust your ribs up to the sky, lift those arms just that little bit higher. You want to keep those ribs down. And then we're going to move those arms around, so we're going to draw our elbows closer towards our waist. And then we're going to start to reach the hands, and they're going to kind of come up and overhead. So it's a little bit like a floor angel, except we're not quite on the floor. And we're keeping those elbows bent, drawing into our sides, and then taking overhead. Move nice and slow. And then kind of finding your way back to that start position, back to that stop. And then your elbows are probably lower than your hands. See if you can drop those hands a little bit lower. Yeah. So you probably find elbows are lower to begin with. Can you drop those hands? So we're really opening out again through your chest and shoulders here. Just hold for a few breaths. Check your jaw here. Is it making you want to clench your teeth and tighten your jaw? Let your jaw relax. Good, and then we're going to sweep the arms down towards our hips. So we're going to take it into a little scissor arm now. Palms are facing in towards the sides of your body. And we're going to take one arm up. We're going to sweep it up towards the sky and then take it overhead. And then as we start to lower that arm, we're going to start to lift the other arm. So those arms are going to pass each other as we scissor those arms. One up, one down. Nice and slow. Just moving at your own pace. Taking the arms to your own end range, but making sure that that doesn't make you arch your back or thrust your ribs. Good. And then allowing your arms to come all the way down to relax down onto the floor. Hold here for a moment, just rolling your chest and shoulders open. So we're going to take it into a single knee fold here. So when you're ready, take a breath, and on your exhale, can you bring one leg into that tabletop position? As you inhale, lower that leg down, and exhale, bringing the other leg up this time. Inhale as you lower, exhale. exhale as you lift. So we're going to keep switching sides. Good. We're going to do two more. One more on each side. And then as your leg lowers down this time, we're just going to hold it there. And let's just pause again for a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, just gently slide yourself off your roller, roll it out of the way so that you can lie down. If you want to, have your legs out straight. And then just take some deep breaths there, just allowing your body to integrate those sensations. And just allow yourself a few moments of relaxation there. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to get rid of our foam roller. Just take it out of the way so that you're not going to keep banging yourself into it. And we're going to come up to seated just for a moment because I want us to check the range of movement that we have at our shoulders. So we're going to do quite a bit of shoulder stuff now. So just take one hand behind your back and take your palm up your back and just see whereabouts it reaches and just kind of notice, because we're hoping that we're going to see a change after we've done these next movements. And then just do the same on the other side. See how far you can reach that hand, how comfortable it is, how it feels. Once we've done both sides there, we're just going to raise both arms up and overhead, seeing how far those arms can go before the ribs want to lift. So kind of just have a feel at that. Where do they go comfortably to? And then just do one arm and then the other arm. Okay, grab your big Pilates ball next. So I just have to tie my hair out of the way. So this next one, it's a little bit wobbly and it's one of those that kind of you just have to play around with. We're going to lie down with the ball on our shoulder, okay? And then we're going to try and move the arm. So prepare yourself to wobble off your ball. So lying down, and it's kind of on your shoulder. Now you can use your other hand here to stabilise, and then I've just got my knees bent and I'm just propped up on this arm. So this arm that we've got on the ball, we're going to reach that arm up and then draw it down. So it's a little bit like, you know, like an uppercut punch. You're kind of doing that with this arm. So up and then drawing that elbow back in. And we're just applying some pressure at the shoulder. And then maybe if you've got enough room, you might be able to draw the elbow down and then draw the, I'll have to sit up to show you. So you're doing your uppercut, and then you might have enough room then to draw that elbow back. So we're going up and then back. If you can't go back because you've not got enough room, and I do struggle with it, just stay with that uppercut. I feel like I haven't really got enough room to take my arm under. Oh, there, a little bit. Creaky ball. Oh, there we go. So just getting some movement there. Ooh, maybe losing that ball. Alright, one more. Got my ball sliding away. Okay, and then coming up. So that arm we've just done, let's try that one again. Taking that arm behind your back and just see whether it feels a little bit easier to bring that arm up and around. And then let's lift just that arm up and just see how that feels. And again, just whether it feels a little bit easier. And then take both arms up and see whether there feels to be a difference one side to the other. And then we're going to do just the same on the other side. Again, laying your shoulder down on your ball. And then once you're there and you feel fairly stable, trying to find that little reach of the arm and then drawing it down. My ball keeps wandering around. And then adding that, seeing if you can draw that elbow back, can you get a little bit more movement there? ball sounds like it's snoring. One more time. And then again, let's just come on up. Let's take that hand behind our back and just see again how that feels, whether it just feels easier, or it just kind of feels a little bit freer, like it can get up there a little bit easier. Taking that arm up. Again, does it feel a little bit easier, a little bit freer? And then try both arms together. Good. So it's just a very quick way to release a little bit of tension through the shoulder, through the upper arm, to allow us a little bit more movement there. Okay, so we're going to keep with the big ball and we're going to take it behind our back. We're going to have it around our shoulder blades and we're going to lie back with our head in our hands. So find kind of shoulder blades, head in your hands and knees bent. And then let your head just rest heavy in your hands. Letting your body sink down into the ball. So again, these are just shoulder releases, releasing tension all around the shoulder complex. So we're working around our shoulder blades particularly now. And then we're going to start to kind of rock gently side to side. So I kind of treat this a little bit like a side bend. So like I'm trying to bring my elbow closer towards my knee and kind of just slide across that ball. And again, all we're doing is applying pressure here, so you can't really do it wrong. We're using movement and pressure to release. So even if your ball is not quite in the right spot, don't worry. Anywhere is good. And to be honest, the balls are quite big, so they cover quite a large area anyway. So we're just kind of doing side to side here. And you can kind of play around with this. You can kind of have your head up a little bit higher, or you can kind of extend back over that ball a little bit. Try both of those and see which one feels good to you. Kind of liking a little bit of extension there. Feels quite nice. Ooh, okay. And then we're going to go onto our side. Again, we're going to stay with the big ball. And we're going to lie on our side. And we're going to have the ball on our rib cage. So kind of lie down with your ball on your rib cage. And then we're going to just kind of rock our body kind of forwards and backwards, using again the pressure of the ball to release tension around that rib cage. So again, just move, don't worry too much. So it's kind of at the side of the rib cage and then just coming around the front a little bit. And it's low, have it kind of low on the lower rib cage. There we go. And just hold your body wherever feels comfortable for you. I'm kind of quite happy on my elbow here. You might want to come down a little bit lower, apply a little bit more pressure. Feel free to kind of move around with this. I'm going to roll a little bit more, coming a little bit more around the front. So, although it might feel a little bit uncomfortable, it might feel a little bit like you're struggling to breathe a bit, it will really help to release tension around the ribcage, which is going to allow you to breathe better. It's going to allow for more movement of your diaphragm as you breathe. And I kind of like using this big ball because it's less pressure than some of the harder balls, so it's a little bit less intense. So staying with this, but kind of roll yourself the other way so that we're now kind of at the side and the back of the rib cage. And again, you might need to wriggle around and switch your position a little bit. So we're still on the rib cage, but we're kind of at the side and the back this time. And you could play around with how much air is in your ball as well, because obviously the more air that's in there, the more pressure there's going to be. If you feel like you're not going to fall off, you can take your arm away from the floor to give yourself a little bit more load, a little bit more pressure. Oh, it's kind of nice. Okay. Let's just come up for a moment before we do the other side. Just take a real big breath in. Just noticing when you take a big breath how it feels. And whether there feels any difference. There might not do, but just noticing if it feels any different. Does it feel any freer on one side? Do you feel like it's moving more? And then let's do the same on the other side. So again, we're coming to the front, we're kind of the side and the front of that rib cage, and we're just going to gently rock again, side to side. Coming around the front. When you're ready, take it a little bit more to the back, to the side and the back. And you can kind of move your arm around, give yourself a little bit more pressure if you want to, a little bit less if you need to. Okay, and then just coming up again, let's just take a couple of breaths there. Always the goal is to be able to get as much air in as possible with every breath and to get as much movement through our rib cage as we possibly can. Okay, let's move on to our prickle balls. Grab your spiky balls and we're going to place them right at the base of your neck, where your neck and shoulder joins, where it tends to feel like there's a lot of tension. You know that bit that you always want to rub? Try and have the balls there. And then we're going to kind of have them held in place with our fingertips. So sometimes just getting into position is the hardest bit. So they're not exactly together, they're kind of apart. So they're kind of on either side of your neck. And then let your head relax down. And then just have your fingertips just resting on the balls and then take those elbows wide. And then let's hold here for a few breaths. And then we're going to start to move our arms a little bit. So this time as you exhale, keeping your fingertips just touching those balls, bring your elbows close together, kind of just over your face. And then as you inhale, let's open those elbows wide. Exhale as you bring the elbows close together, kind of touching over your face. And then inhale as you open wide. Keep going there, just with the pace of your breath. So this movement is really nice for releasing neck and shoulder tension headaches. I said, just that feeling of, you just want to rub. You want someone to come and just give you a little neck rub. Let's do two more like this. Good. And then again, let your elbows just open wide and just hold here. A few breaths. And then we're going to release the arms. Let your arms come down by your sides, but let's have palms facing up so that we can roll our chest and shoulders open. And just take a few breaths here. Okay, so we're going to move the balls now. And we're going to, again, come to our side. And we're going to have both balls. And they're going to be kind of on the outside of your armpit, okay? So we're aiming for our lats, so we're kind of here, both balls. And again, it might take a bit of shuffling to find the right position. 1, 2, yeah? Knees bent. So supporting hand can come here. And then this arm, we've got our palm facing up towards the sky. And we're going to hold here. Now that might already feel like that's quite a lot of pressure. You might not want to move. So you can stay still, or you can start to do that little bit of an arm angel. So we're just going to gently move that arm up and down, finding the range that feels okay for you. And if you want to stay still, then absolutely do that. Otherwise, we're just gently, gently moving that arm around. And if you're feeling like that tender bruise sensation, it's a good sign that you're in the right spot, and then it's going to make a big difference to you. I'm definitely feeling it on this side. Okay, and then pause and just hold in that arm still. Let's just pause and take a couple more breaths here. And then we're going to stay on this same side, but we're going to move to bring the balls to the inside edge of that shoulder blade now. So again, it might take a little bit of getting in position. So we're going to lie down on our back and then kind of try and bring those balls, bring the balls to the inside of that shoulder blade on that side, yeah? And if you're not quite in the right spot, don't worry about it. And you can't do any damage there at all. Okay, and then you can have your head in your hands if you want to. You can let your head come to the floor if you want to. You can pop something under your head. Just find a position that feels okay for you. And then let's just gently rock side to side. So if you don't need your hands to support your head, you can hug and just kind of gently rock there. So because we're just to that inside edge of that shoulder blade, it will just roll just over that shoulder blade a little bit, yeah? Just over that edge of that shoulder blade. And that tends to be where there's a lot of tension. If you are hugging, just switch your arms over the other way and carry on rocking. Again, if you don't want to rock, if you just want to stay still, that's fine too. Kind of rocking over those balls. Good. All right. And then before we do the other side, let's just come on up for a minute. Just do some little shoulder rolls there. Move your neck around. Let's see how it feels. Let's try that, taking the arm behind your back again. How does that feel? Do you feel easier? Do you feel like you can get your hand higher? How about if you take that arm overhead? Does it feel freer? Does it feel like it moves more easily? And again, maybe comparing it to the other side. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So coming down. So again, remember it's going to go along the outside edge of the armpit on those lat muscles. So find it. Palms facing up. And again, you might choose to hold still, or you might want to just do that little floor angel there. Might feel completely different this side. Go gentle. Now, you could probably get your head down, or you could put something under your head if you wanted to, if you're not comfortable with your head just kind of hovering. Always, you want to be as relaxed as possible, so if you find that having your head in this position is not right for you, grab something. Oh, I kind of like it on this side, this feels good. Okay, let's again take it to that inside edge of the shoulder blade. So we'll roll onto our back. Can you find it? So you've got both balls against that one side. And if you don't need your head to support your hands, you can give yourself a little hug again, and then just gently rock in. Over the edge of that shoulder blade. So I know whenever I go and I have a massage, it's always that inside edge of that shoulder blade, and it always clicks. And if you go for a massage, there's always a bit that clicks. It's always here for me. So this is a really nice way to be able to release that tension ourselves at home. And if you are hugging and rocking, just switch your arms over the other way. And again, if you feel that here it makes you almost feel like you can't take a deep breath, then you know that once you release it, it will be a lot better for you. All right. When you're ready, let's come up again. Let's check again, taking that arm behind your back, see how it feels. Taking that arm up to the sky, how does it feel? And do both arms together. So hopefully they kind of feel a little bit more free, like you've got a little bit more movement there. Okay, so we're going to go onto our back again. We're going to have, say, the pickleballs, and this time they're going to go lower than we had them before, so not right at the top on the traps, kind of between your neck and your shoulder blades, so anywhere in the shoulder area. We're going to have one on either side. So I'm going to try and get kind of just to the top of my shoulder blades, if I can get the balls there. And then have them sort of fairly close together. They don't have to be touching, but have them fairly close together. And if you found a spot that you feel like, oh, that's a good spot. And then let's have head in hands this time, knees bent. Letting your head rest heavy in your hands here. And let's just take some deep breaths, allowing your body to sink down. Noticing how it feels in your body. So for me, my right side is always tighter, so it feels almost like the ball on my right side feels harder. Feels like if there's a rock under my right side. Left side's not as bad. So just notice, do they feel the same? Does it feel different? And then you can just gently move here, maybe just a little gentle twist side to side, a little rock, just kind of move your body around a little bit, just exploring that area. And depending on how it feels, so if it kind of feels like there's pressure and bruising and it's kind of not particularly nice, then just stay still. If it feels okay, what you can do is press into your feet to lift your pelvis just off the floor, and then just gently roll up and down here. Now that's a lot more pressure, so if that's too much, just take your bottom back down and just kind of move around. So either of those are fine. It's going to give you some good prickle marks on your skin afterwards if you're kind of chugging up and down a little bit. So we're just rolling just up and down a little way, don't kind of go too far. And then lowering your pelvis back down, holding there. And then we're going to do the hug again. So you can keep your head up if you want to. You can take your head down to the floor or grab your ball or something to pop under your head if you want to. But we're going to hug again. I'm going to hold here. So this hug kind of brings the shoulder blades a little bit wider. It allows us to stretch through the upper back. So it's allowing us to reach that little bit deeper. And if you are hugging and you have got your head up, see if you can kind of just do some like little circles of your upper body. So it doesn't have to be big. And if you rather just stay still, then do that. But can you kind of do some little circles? And if you've managed to find a rhythm and circle one way, maybe you can try the other way. And if it makes you feel a bit nauseous, then just stay still. If you've been hugging, let's open the arms out and do the other way. And again, you can circle again. You don't have to circle. And reverse, go the other way if you are. Good. Alright. And then come up off the balls. Let's take the balls away. And lie all the way down. And let's just stay here for a few breaths. Noticing how your shoulders, back of your ribs feels. So we're just going to use one ball and we're going to place it behind our triceps, so behind your upper arm. I've kind of just gone for kind of the middle of my upper arm. And then have your palm facing into your body. And I want you to kind of pin that ball down to the floor. So you're pressing your tricep into that ball to pin it down. And then we're just going to bend the elbow, keep that ball pinned. As you bend your elbow, bring in your thumb towards your shoulder. And then just straightening that arm out again. And we're pinning, we're pushing that ball down into the floor. Again, can you bend at the elbow, bringing your thumb towards your shoulder. And then straighten out again. I'm going to do that a few times. Keep that pressure on the ball. And then let's move it a little bit. So if you were kind of in the middle of that tricep, maybe moving it to just above your elbow. Don't have it on your elbow, have it just above. And same thing, pinning that ball down. And then we're going to bend, bringing your thumb towards your shoulder, and then straighten that arm out again. And again, if it feels tender and if it feels bruised, that's a good sign that your triceps are holding a lot of tension. Good. All right, let's do one more. Take it up towards the top. Again, pinning it down. And let's do a few of those little presses here. And then of course we're just going to do exactly the same on the other side. So when you're ready, placing the ball onto your other arm. Again, just let's start in the middle of that tricep. And then pin it, pressing that elbow down into the floor, pressing the tricep down into the ball. We're going to bend the elbow and bring your thumb towards your shoulder and then straighten the arm out. Is it different on this side? Good. You can do this against the wall as well, it's kind of nice against the wall. I feel like you can get more pressure when you do it on the floor though. And then when you're ready, let's move that ball down so it's going to be just above your elbow. Obviously we don't want it on the elbow joint or you won't be able to move it. And again, same thing, just bending and straightening that arm. And what I really like about this, as well as obviously releasing tension, is we're improving circulation. And our triceps, they don't tend to get as much movement and as much circulation as we would like. So this is nice. Give them a little bit of attention. Let's take that ball up towards the top. Again, pin it. And then bend and straighten. Good. And then as you straighten your arm this time, we're going to take that ball away. Okay, let's go back to the big ball. Let's go back to the Pilates big ball, and we're going to pop it under our pelvis this time. So we're going to do some lower body stuff now. So on your back with your knees bent, lifting your hips to place that ball under your pelvis. And then we're just going to stay here for a few breaths, just letting your body settle. And then we're going to start to tilt our pelvis. So tilting towards you and away. So a little bit of movement there. And then coming to rest in kind of a neutral position. So hip bones and pubic bone fairly level, just so that your pelvis isn't rolled right back. And we're going to do a leg slide here. So we're going to slide one leg out long on the floor. Once that leg is fully straight, we're going to push out through the heel and pull the front of the foot towards you. And then we're just going to slide that leg back in. Same on the other side, slide the leg out long. Once the leg is out, you're going to press out through the heel, pull the front of the foot towards you, and then slide that leg back in. And we're going to just keep switching sides. Remembering to add that push of the heel, pull of the foot towards you, that gives you that little extra length. If you feel okay, you feel fairly stable, let's add the arm reach as well. So as you slide one leg out, the opposite arm is going to reach overhead and stretch. And then draw back in. Sliding the leg, reaching the arm. Again, push out through your heel, pulling the front of the foot towards you. Really reach with your fingertips, especially that middle finger. Remember, that's where our fascia kind of ends, right at the tip of that middle finger. So that's the one we want to really stretch. If you want to, you're feeling super stable, you can do both arms overhead as you reach one leg. If you feel like you'd rather keep one arm down on the floor to stop you falling off, then that's fine too. Let's do two more here. One more time. And as you bring the arm and the leg back in this time, hold it there. Bring one knee in towards your chest. And then making sure that you're not going to roll off your ball, can you bring that other knee in as well? So you've got both knees in. Pelvis is obviously going to tilt towards you. Allow your knees to come as close to your chest as you can. And you can hold on to those knees if you're not going to fall off your ball. Or obviously keep your arms down if you prefer. And let's just hold here and take a few breaths. And then when you're ready, releasing those legs one at a time to come back to the floor, lifting your bottom so you can take that ball away, and then just lowering your bum back down to the floor. And you might choose to lengthen your legs out long again here, and just take a few breaths. Again, just allowing your body to integrate all of those sensations, and hopefully feeling nice and flat on the floor. Let's go back to our spiky prickle balls. We're going to pop them under our bottom, one under each cheek. And as we always do to start with, we're just going to then gently swing our hips from side to side. Good. Now remember, you can move the balls anytime. Sometimes you'll find that you want to take them higher or lower, closer together, further apart, whatever. Wherever feels good to you. And then once you're kind of happy, we're going to stay still there. We've got our feet and knees about hip distance apart. And then on an in-breath, we're going to open the knees out to the side, both knees. And then exhale as you bring the knees back into centre. So again, as you inhale, we're going to open the knees out. And then exhale to come back in through centre. We're going to keep going. Just go with the flow of your breath. And again, you're in control of how big a range you want to do here. And then as you bring the knees up towards the sky this time, we're going to hold there. We're going to take it into our single knee fold next. So take a breath, and as you exhale, you're going to bring one leg into that tabletop position. And as you inhale, you're going to lower that leg down, and exhale to bring the other leg up this time. Again, you're lowering as you inhale, you're lifting as you exhale, and we're going to keep switching sides. Alright, as you bring your leg into tabletop this time, we're going to hold it there. And we're going to straighten that leg out. It doesn't have to go fully straight, just kind of a comfortable position. Okay, now this time we're going to point our toes, make that leg as long as you can, pointing your toes. And we're going to lower that leg down towards the floor. Let it come as low as feels okay for you without arching your back. And then we're going to flex the foot, so flat foot, and we're going to lift the foot back up towards the sky. So we're going to point the toes and we're going to lower the leg down towards the floor, taking it as low as feels okay and you can control. And then we're going to flex the foot, so flat foot, and we're going to lift it towards the sky. Again, point as you lower that leg down. And then flex as you lift that leg up. We're going to do two more. Point as you lower the leg nice and controlled. Flex as you lift. One more time. Point as you lower, and then flex as you lift. And then we're going to bend that leg back into tabletop, and then place that foot back down on the floor. And we're going to do the same on the other side, so bringing the other leg into tabletop, and then straightening that leg out. We're going to point, and we're going to lower that leg all the way down. And then we're going to flex, and we're going to lift that leg up towards the sky. Point as you lower, flex as you lift. Point as you lower, flex to lift. Two more. And when you finish your last one, you're just going to bend that knee back in and place that foot back down on the floor. Then you're going to do your little swing of your hips side to side, little shimmy. A little bit of movement there. And then just pausing there. Okay, take those balls out from under your bottom. Lower your bottom back down. Lengthen your legs out long. So good. So good. Just take a few breaths there. Okay. Don't really want to move. But we're going to do a cranial release anyway. So that's a really nice way to relax all the way from our head, all the way down to our tail, releasing all of the spine. Both of your spiky balls, I'm going to pop them behind our head. And remember, if a position doesn't feel right for you, you can move to the next one or go back a step. So both the balls together behind your head. And if they're sliding around in your hair, you can lift your hair up, or you can hold them in place if you want to. Mine do not want to stay still today, so I'm going to just have my elbows wide and just keep my fingertips on the balls to keep them still. Have your knees bent, that will just take any pressure off your back. And we're just going to hold here. Taking some deep breaths and trying to allow your body to sink down. Taking this time to scan through your body, noticing any areas of tension, and seeing if you can find more softness there. Close your eyes if you want to, allow you to tune in to your breath and to the sensations of your body. And then when you're ready, we're going to move the balls down. I'm going to move them down a smidge. So we're going to go down right to the base of your skull, where your skull and your neck meet, if you like. And again, place the balls there. Again, if they feel like they're moving around, you can hold them in place. And you might choose to stay still, or you might gently nod your head here. See what feels good to you. Maybe just a gentle turn side to side. When you're ready, let's move the balls down again. So we're going to keep the balls together, and they're going to be right in the centre of your neck. And if you don't need your hands to hold them in place, let your arms come down by your sides, palms facing up, and then you can roll your chest and shoulders open. And you might choose to stay still, or you might want to gently turn your head from side to side. Really small movement. And if moving's not a happy position for you or a happy movement today, then just keep it still. It's fine. It's all about what your body needs right now. Moving the balls down again. So we're going to go back to where we were earlier, right where the neck and the shoulders join. So we're on those upper traps and those bits that always feel a little bit tender and bruised. So just kind of tuck your ball just under. Again, if you don't need your arms to hold them in place, let's have the arms down by the sides, palms facing up. And as you move the balls to the different positions, you're just noticing any signals that your body's sending you. You're noticing if it feels tender or bruised. You're noticing if it makes you then grip somewhere. And it might not necessarily be where the balls are. So check your jaw, making sure that you're not clenching your teeth or frowning. Do you have little frown lines between your eyebrows? Maybe it's made you clench your fists or scrunch up your toes. Just scan and release. I'm going to move the balls again. So they're going to go wider now. They're going to go just where your arm and your shoulder meet. So just kind of to the inside. Yeah. And then again, opening those arms out. And as always, if you want to pop something under your head, absolutely do that. Surrendering the weight of your body, sinking down into those balls, noticing if you are trying to levitate and trying to lift away. Let's move the balls again. So they're going to come back in closer towards each other. They're going to go in between your shoulder blades now. So into those little rhomboid muscles between your shoulder blades. And if you don't like your head coming all the way to the floor, then obviously you can pop your ball or anything under your head there. Again, just notice if it feels the same on both sides. So I'm going to move them down again. This time they're going to go into the fleshy bit between the bottom of your rib cage and the top of your pelvis, either side. This is the one that we never stay for too long because it's not always the most comfortable place. But it is an area that does hold a lot of tension. Moving them down slightly, they're just going to go just to the kind of edge of your pelvis, where the dimples are, right at the base of your spine. So right on that crest of your pelvis. And again, can't really do any harm with these, so if you're not sure that you're in the right spot, don't worry. If it feels really tender and bruised, you probably are in the right spot. then one last place, just one ball right in the centre of your pelvis. We're aiming right for that sacrum, that triangular shaped bone. And then holding there. And imagining that you're sinking down. And then when you're ready, press into your heels, lift your bottom, and then take that ball away. Again, you might choose to lengthen out your legs and just take a few moments here to just allow your body to integrate all of those releasing sensations, and just notice how your body feels in contact with the floor. Is your back completely flat? Do you feel like there's no spine? Do you feel like you've no bottom? Just notice. Sometimes it releases all of that tension down the back line of the body so that you can lie down on your back here and the backs of your thighs are indeed touching the floor and your pelvis is neutral, hip bone, pubic bone are level. And your body is completely relaxed. Just a couple more breaths here. Before we spoil it by having to sit up and get on with the rest of our day. When you're ready, just slowly bring yourself up to a seated position. Just to wake us up a little bit before we move. Once you're up, let's just gently roll our shoulders and go the other way. And then just gently turning your head side to side. And you guys are